Welcome to my second tier list. This is gonna come right after the July update that just happened. We'll go over to the patch notes really quick and take a look. I'm not gonna read through them, but basically, these druids are losing, almost 20 to 30% of their HP, which is big late game. They were so strong because you could get them to 3 stars super easy. Now it's not as important. The stinger nerf doesn't really matter. Frost Lotus nerf, you can feel it a little bit, but sorcerers are still strong because Lightbringer is one of the main units of it. General of War, I actually put this in green because you don't really use General of War for the damage. Like, it was nice, they're nerfing it by a lot, nearly 50% at tier 3, but you didn't even get to tier 3 before. But it's still almost 50% even at the 2-star. Basically just druids are nerfed. Then there's a couple small adjustments. The unique tier list has changed a little bit. You're definitely no longer buying druids all the time. I have Witch Doctor up here because you can make money off of him. This is like a small strat. Like, you can level him up with another druid and you make a gold. I'll get into that in another video. Templar Knight is extremely strong. You can put every item in the game on him and he'll do well with it. Sword Dancer is still an amazing unit. General of War got nerfed a little bit, but he's still fine. Like I said, you don't upgrade him to tier 3 anyways. You use two 2-stars. Warlocks are just OP. We'll get to that in a little bit. And then, as usual, the best unit in the game, you never don't purchase him, or you always purchase him, I guess, is Guru. That just about covers it. Warlocks right now are literally OP. You can start with Voodoo Elder and Marsh Lord pretty early. They're 2-star. They're 2-cost units. They both have great alts. Voodoo Elder tier 1 alt is actually not very good. Maybe that's the one exception because it only bounces to 2 people. But Marsh Lord's always like a good alt. You get like an extra piece on the board. Void Doom is like the best alt in the game. Misfortune maybe the second best. Nether Prince is also a very strong unit. You can start building Warlocks at any point in the game. If you see any of them, you can kind of pick them up. You almost always pick up Misfortune, like no matter what. And then Void Doom, you'll usually pick up as well. But Misfortune is like almost like Guru. Like, you always buy Misfortune. Let's see. Ultimately, when you're running the Warlock comp, even if you start with the Voodoo Elder and the Marsh Lord, you're gonna look to replace them with either Misfortune or Void Doom. I guess there's exceptions if you have like a 3-star Marsh Lord or a 3-star Voodoo Elder. You don't necessarily have to replace them both then. The only thing to remember when you're running Warlocks is that you do need to have a strong front line, because the best part of their buff is that they give shields at max HP, so your backline gets a little bit of extra health before they start getting attacked. So just make sure you're doing that. You have a little bit of a front line. Just another thing, like I said, can be built at any point in the game since each Warlock is strong for their star power. So, always buy them pretty much. We're going to start with Riders. It said 6 Riders in the last tier list, but things have changed a little bit. 6 Riders is still obviously like super strong. If you don't, you're almost always going 6 Riders if you get him. But if you if you do that, you always have the Hunter Rider synergy that's like very strong through the early game. That's like going to get you there until you pick up your Dragoon, and your Calamity or Templar. Because you'll usually get the first 3 units like relatively fast. But the Dragoon you might have to wait for. So using the Hunter synergy to get there is like pretty strong. because like famine and calamity is like you're gonna run that pretty often anyways too. The next one is Punisher Demon Rider. You have to find the Devourer and the Nightingale. You're usually starting with the Nightingale level 1, like because it's such a strong unit. And then you're looking for like 2 other demons, and then you need 4 other riders. If you run 4 riders, you can get the if you run 4 riders, you can get the Warlock synergy. If you run 6 riders, you can just go for 4 Punishers, right? 4 Punisher demons. You've quite a few options. Just riders is very strong, especially after the druid nerf. They're like undoubtedly the best. Druids were probably a little stronger before, because you rarely lost. You almost always got above 3rd place. We'll get into that a little bit when we get to druids. So next we have Punisher Demon Warlock. This is just you'll kind of start with the Punisher like more often than not, and then if you see the rider bonus, you'll go for it. But otherwise, the Punisher Demon Warlock is like just a super strong comp. It can compete with 6 riders if you use your Nightingale well. Like I said in the last video, don't go 4 Warlocks. You can also get 3. You can get 3 sorcerers. 3 sorcerers works really well with this comp because you have like a lot of magic damage alts. So the 3 sorcerers helps a lot. Like you can pretty much run any of the 3 sorcerers. Like I mentioned, you can possibly run riders as well. We're gonna talk about elves real quick. Actually, not sure if I'd necessarily put them at number 3 right now. But the reason why they might be at 3 is because you're like kind of guaranteed to get 3rd place, and the thing about this game is like you don't actually have to get 1st place every game to really win, right? You just have to get you have to always get above 3rd place, right? So the thing about elves is that like you're not gonna get like 1st place almost like ever, unless your enemies like really built things poorly. Maybe you get a lot of extra strong units. But the reason these are so strong is because you can get to the late game though. You're not gonna win the late game, but getting there is honestly enough, right? If you're just trying to rank up. You have the Punisher Assassin strategy, but basically the key is you're just leveling up your druids really quick, right? The Evergreen, the Everbloom, you're also gonna go for the Night Owl, and possibly the Witch Doctor too, because you can just get them all 3 stars because you have all these druids and elves on the table. So you'll run Punisher Assassin is one choice. You can also run mages if you're already running the Moonlight Dragon. Beast is also a possibility because of the Night Owl. I didn't really mention it here because Beast is a little RNG, so I don't feel as comfortable with it because you're really just trying to get 3rd place, right? So the Beast might knock you out early if you don't really roll right. So basically it's like very strong early game, so still decent comp to go. You're not planning on winning, but that's fine. We have the 6 human and 6 sorcerer comp now. The pros are it's a very strong late game if positioned well, contest rider and punisher, exactly like I said. Exactly like that sounds. You can win versus riders with this comp. The thing is, you do have to rely on the human passive, which is 1/2 chance of not working. So if your Lightbringer and your Flame Caller don't proc their ult twice, you're not in a good spot. I mean, you do have technically, you can get your General Warder proc twice, your Lightbringer, anything but the Werewolf. If that procs twice, you're gonna be really set, right? You're gonna put most of your items on the Templar Knight, like we kind of mentioned in the unique tier list. You have to get the 3 human sorcerers, and then you have a choice of either Starhorn, Totem Face, Moonlight Dragon, Void Destruction or the Dark Mage. Starhorn's like extremely important to get. It's one of the best mages. It's just not a human. Void Destruction is pretty good too. And then I mean, Dark Mage is alright, but like you can't really plan on getting him, you know, because he's a legendary. You have to, when you run this build, you have to do something called cornering, where you literally put your pieces into the corner, like so that they only get hit by like 2 sides instead of like all 4. This will also help the Lightbringer do like a lot of damage because she'll just like hit everything because they're all lined up next to you. Same with the Void Destruction, same idea, because they're like all grouped around you. You're able to do like a lot of AoE damage. Like the cons, like I kind of mentioned it, you like kind of need to know how to position. It's also not super strong early unless you get like lucky. And then you have to get all 6 humans, right? Which is a little rough because they don't, like, these humans are almost all different classes. I mean, if you get the 3 human sorcerers early, you're lucky, right? Because you're running your human buff already. I mean, you're running your sorcerer buff. This is a really good late game comp. It's just getting all 6 humans and getting the stars is like tough, along with all these other sorcerers. Because you don't really come online, you know, until you hit level 9. So, you know, getting there's tough. You'll probably more often than not be trying to run 6 humans and like 4 or 5 sorcerers for the start. You know, and then eventually you'll get, once you get to level 9, you'll be able to make the build happen, and it's a beautiful thing, let me tell you. Just a little reiteration, like, you're almost always building Warlocks. They're just great. They're great early, they're great mid-game, they're great end-game. You know, Misfortune and Void Doom, like, best units, best ults. You know, pretty much not too much has changed from last week, but the druids, the big change really is that the druids aren't trying to win now. If you're running the druid, if you're running the elf and the druid comp, you're just trying to get to the late game. I'm gonna leave you guys there with that. Just like and subscribe. You know, I'm gonna be doing these tier lists every time there's a new patch. I have new videos out of gameplay, like a little, so you can actually understand how I go through thought processes on like the economy and on your economy, and like when to roll, when to re-roll, when to level up. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys being here. I look forward to talking to you guys in the comment section, on Reddit, in my Discord, maybe on Twitter. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Peace.